What is up, everyone? I am Jamie with Three Little Goats Homestead, and today we are in the soaping studio, which means we are making some soap. So I haven't made a soap making video, and it seems like forever. I've been making soap all summer long. I just have literally been just trying to get it made so I can get it cured for markets because I've just been really busy. So today we have some time to just relax and make some soap. And of course, we're going to make the most stressful kind of soap. We're going to make a pine tar soap that has floral essential oils in it. And if you've been making soap for a while, you know those are two things that tend to accelerate your trace. So hopefully this goes as planned. And so without further ado, let's get started. Alright, y'all, so I'm going to be calling this a recipe for disaster, because if you've ever made pine tar soap, which is what we're making today, you know that it really accelerates trace. And floral essential oils, floral fragrances, anything floral tends to also accelerate trace. So guess what we're using today? Both. So I'm doing a pine tar and a rose clay soap today. So my plan is to get this all to a very, very light trace, then split the batter, and we're going to do half with the pine tar, which I've already measured out. I mixed a little bit of oil in there to help kind of hopefully get it out of this cup easier. And then the other half we are going to use the rose clay with. And then for our fragrance, I'm using essential oils. I'm using sandalwood. I'm using some different florals, as well as a little bit of cypress, which I think will pair really well with the natural smell of the pine tar. And I'm only going to actually fragrance the half that has the clay in it, in hopes that it doesn't move too quickly on us. So I've already got my oils melted down. I've got my goat milk powder and my beer in here, and I'm going to give this a quick blitz to get everything nice and smooth, and then we will get to soaping. Alright, so like I said, we are going to bring this to a very, very light trace. So I'm going to add in my lye water, and I shouldn't have used a water discount, but I'm also using a water discount, which just, you know, makes everything that much better. Said, we're going thin. Everything is just barely together. Hopefully this all works. That's wrong. So we're going to split this off. I'm going to add in my clay first, because I know it's not going to thicken up my batter too much. So I'll get that mixed. I'm going to hand stir that in. And then at the end, if I need to, I will give it a blitz with the stick blender. And then we're going to add in our pine tar, which adding a little bit of the base oil really helps it get it out of here. Alright, I'm just going to use that stick and give this a quick mix as well. Again, nice and smooth. And I'm not even going to hit this with the stick blender. I don't need to. Everything is kind of mixed in nice and evenly. Another perk of adding a little bit of the oil kind of thins it out just a bit to make it easier. Alright. Fragrance is going in. Alright, so far, knock on wood, so good. So I am going to give this a stick blend because it's actually too thin. I don't want to support this thin. another tip for making pine tar soap. Soap at a low temp. I'm soaping under 100 degrees today, even though it is not under 100 degrees outside. My soap, my oils, and my lye water were both under 100 degrees. A lot easier to work with. Alright. My mess cleaned up. Get you going. Yeah, my pink is definitely starting to thicken, so let's get this in the batter, or batter in the mold. You know what I mean. I'm going to tell you, florals are not beginner friendly. This is why. And you just plop right down in there, huh? Which is fine. Just kind of want to separation of the colors a bit. Now, could you imagine if I were to put all those essential oils in with the pine tar? Whew! I tell you, it's soap on a stick. So, just gonna cover all of that up. And we're going to scrape out as much of this soap as possible because I hate cleaning soap dishes. Thick enough to kind of texture the top already. It already smells wonderful. You can smell the pine tar, that is for sure, but you definitely get the floral notes too, which is really nice. And then I've got my spray bottle with rubbing alcohol. We're going to do this spritz. And then we're going to let this sit for about 24 hours, and when it is ready, I'll bring y'all back for the cutting. Alrighty, y'all. So we are officially on soap cutting day, which is always one of my favorite days so far. She looks fabulous on the outside. I can already smell her, and she definitely smells floral. Florals aren't my favorite scent, but maybe I should have cut this earlier. Whew, she's hard. And it hasn't even been a full 24 hours yet. Ooh, okay. Alright, that is what we are looking at. It's not as swirly as I wanted to, but the soaps were two totally different textures. If you've ever worked with pine tar or florals, you kind of get that I was just trying to get this in the pot. These guys will go on the curing rack, and they will be ready to go in a few weeks. So I'll see you guys in the outro. Alright, y'all, so that is what I have got for you guys today. Thankfully, this soap didn't get too thick too quickly. Everything turned out beautifully, and I am super excited for this to cure. And as soon as it is ready, it will be listed up on the website, which by the time this video comes out, it may already be up there. So be sure to check out 3littlegoatsoap.com if you're interested in purchasing that soap or any of our other soaps that we have available. And be sure also to give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more soaping videos. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to get notifications, because I always forget to say that as well. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.